Greetings, citizens. Well, of course, the PTU has gone out to the public for testing now. And of course, we had the live stream and they revealed a new racer and a couple other fun things. So we're going to get into that this week. So let's get to it. Greetings, everyone, and welcome to another week of BlastCast. Once again, with me, as always, is my bastion of common sense, Lightning Dragon. And, of course, as you know by now, 2.6 has actually gone out onto the official PTU out of Evocati status, and I don't think Lightning could be more excited about it. There is something that I do want to go ahead and get into real quick, and as I had mentioned in my previous video about covering Star Marine a little bit, but for those of you who may have skipped it, missed it, or whatever, I did talk to Will Leverett about this. Just want to let you all know that I actually have been part of Evocati testing this particular phase. I cannot go into details of conversations, the development builds and changes. That stuff's all underneath the NDA, but I do kind of want to, a while ago we had talked about, we were concerned about the nature of Evocati, like how much the influence is. Are they changing things? Are they getting? And I have to say that with the change in the flight mechanics and things like that, obviously there was a lot of testing, a lot of things going on, and I can say honestly that I think that the devs were very listened to what people had to say, and they were very responsive, and it was a very positive experience overall. And frankly, they were kind of fun to chat with. They were very lighthearted, and overall, it was just a good experience. So I don't have the concerns that I had before about Evocati when it comes to that. I think it's actually a workable and a solid program. So I just want to let you all know that, because we had brought it up before I was in that particular program, and I just wanted to go ahead and lay those fears to rest. Now, of course, as Will said, I could come out and say that I'm an Evocati, but he said I don't recommend it because you might get a lot of fire for that, a lot of flames. But I think you can identify a lot of people who are doing Evocati when you see something like the PTU go to public availability, and some people get videos out like in 30 seconds immediately after that NDA is dropped. I think you can kind of narrow down who that is. But the idea here is always, of course, is to be straightforward, as honest with you all as possible. So that's why I asked him in particular if I could tell you this, because I just feel that it was best to be straightforward with everybody. Now, of course, we had the live stream last week, and it was a lot of it was basically devs playing one another, and we all do get a trophy out of the situation, which is kind of cool. We're going to be getting that hanger flare pretty soon, and that was about an hour of the stream. And but outside of that, there was a couple other little nuggets that dropped. But before we get into that a little bit, we did have some requests that came in. And we may be addressing those here, particularly within the next week or so, since there's not a lot of information coming out over the course of the holidays, as expected. We had some requests to look at doing additional witch ships, maybe comparing an entire line of ships, for example, the entire 300 series or such like that. We may look into that. And we had another request where people were wondering about a more detailed definition or maybe explanation of how things work, like what are the TR ratings on thrusters and things like that. Things that we might be looking into, and we got to work out the dynamics of that, and want to make sure the information is good if we do go ahead and do that. But as always, we do appreciate suggestions. And
in the same topic, sort of.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, with YouTube being retarded and stuff again, it's very, very possible, though no promises, because I'm only like half in with this channel, because I have my own channel, which I barely do anything on, because I can't find the time to do things. Jumping in and having conversations like this where we just talk about stuff, where we talk over games and stuff, is pretty easy to do. But for me, going in and recording and then editing and doing all this stuff, it's kind of hard for me to do because of real life things. but we might be trying to do some daily content on Citizen Gamer channel here coming up.
Yeah, that's true. We've been kind of thinking about it, and there's a lot of things out there we'd like to get into. There's a lot of games that we've played over the course of time, and things that we have found within those games that have been a failure or a success. And in some regards, we'd like to take that information and, to a limited degree, and bring it in to say, compare it to how things are developing in Star Citizen, and explain where certain pitfalls can be, where certain really good things can be if applied correctly. And we're definitely going to be approaching that. And so if you're looking for a little bit more content, dealing with other games, but we'll try to tie it into Star Citizen a little bit. And I have kind of a general idea of where I'm going with it. So basically, if you follow along, you'll see where I'm heading with the logic behind what I'm trying to explain. Because sometimes I think that what I'm trying to explain when it comes to development in Star Citizen and some of the concepts or the mechanics therein, they're best explained when not entirely in a bubble. You have to step outside, you have to look at other games, other game developers, and then from there you need to, because basically when you do the same things over and over, you're going to get the same results. So whether or not it's a different game, if you follow the same path, even if it's a different game by a different company, generally speaking, you're going to get the same ending place. So that's kind of why I wanted to explore that a little bit. And plus, some of these games, some deserve to be lambasted and some need to be praised. And we'll kind of explain both of those as well. So we have here, they did actually reveal a good amount, really for the first time in a long time, about the Vanduul. And it wasn't, I don't say it was a good amount, but considering the fact that we had almost nothing before, any amount would be a good amount. They did actually go and show a little bit of a trailer of one of the Vanduul drillers flying by with some fighters, which was really cool. I think it was one of the, I was surprised to see it. That was the closest thing we've had to a Squadron 42 reveal in a while. And they did actually talk a little bit about the Vanduul Warrior caste system to a degree, and that the warriors, the more experienced, the more veteran they are, the less armor they actually wear. So you can actually identify the newbies by they're probably wearing so much armor that you can't even see their skin. And the highest level ones basically have the armor, what little armor they have is basically sewn into their skin, which doesn't sound very comfortable.
Like grafted.
Yeah, something along those lines, but ouch. So basically, they also said that it doesn't bother them because pain doesn't affect the Vanduul in the same way. They don't feel things the same way. And apparently, they also have a somewhat resistance to the vacuum of space, so they don't need spacesuits.
They're like space whales.
Space. Well, I assume they need oxygen to some degree, but basically, I guess either
the
their
devs
bodies
were kind of hinting that they don't breathe oxygen, which is what I was mentioning earlier because I couldn't quite remember and I couldn't find the article. But they didn't come out and right out say, oh, well, they can hold their, their breath, oxygen. They were saying, if they breathe oxygen or something.
Yeah.
So it might be that they don't actually breathe oxygen.
Yeah, so it'd be interesting to see what that comes out. And we mentioned it before when we were talking about the atmospheres. I said that, when we're dealing with atmospheric effects, like if they breathe something different and you go into a station, you find out the atmospheric mix is not normal, breathable for human, you can say, oh, this mix is this and this, so this must be Vanduul. It took it over, kind of give you a hint that way. So it'd be interesting to see exactly what exactly how they breathe or all that stuff, that information. That's all coming down the line. But of course, the devs also talked about how the reason that we have in 2.6 ships like the Caterpillar is because basically some of that 3.0 content, because of the delay, got moved into 2.6 because it was just ready to go, and that makes sense. I don't see why not. And I'll be really happy to finally just kind of go out there with my brother and mess around with the Caterpillar. I'm sure he's really looking forward to that. He's been kind of chomping at the bit to get out in space with that one. And of course,
get some video of us flying around and ramming people. Liberating the space stations from hostile pirates.
It's actually quite perfect because, you got 2 turrets and 1 cockpit, pilot seat. So that's literally perfect for the 3 of us. That's great. So yeah, we should accidentally bump into people. That would be fantastic. And of course, They're going to be adding in, of course, with the ship locks and the atmosphere. When you open up the ships will vent, which could actually be a kind of a tactical thing as well. You can vent the ship really quick. Something like the Caterpillar, you blow that door open on the side, you can just suck everything out. But of course, there is a new ship that they revealed in the presentation, the Razor, the MISC Razor. Now, being a fan of MISC, being that I have so many MISC ships, I actually converted my M50 over to the Razor. It's interesting. It looks like it, from what I'm looking on the stats, it weighs about half as much but carries 50% more thrusters. Now, the only thing you're really losing on this is your shield is a size smaller, and you have two less. Obviously, you don't have any missiles, which is not really a big deal because the missiles that were on the M50 are nothing to write home about anyway. They're just a step above bottle rockets. So, having that on there, I really love the way the M50 handled, particularly in combat. So to me,
oh man, I remember flying on the PTU. That thing flew amazing.
Oh yeah, but a ship that weighs half as much with 50% more thrusters is going to be insane. And they're all the same size thrusters too.
Time to get negative here. And until they fix the thruster model, I mean, this ship that's coming out might as well not even have a main engine because it's all thrusters, right? And thrusters are so powerful, unless they fix them and tone them down, make them fly like actual spacecraft.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Right now, Lightning doesn't have access into the PTU.
And I don't know if I have it yet or not. I haven't checked.
Yeah, so I don't want to go ahead and do a thoughts video. I'm going to do my own thoughts video, but I want to get his impressions down the road once he's able to get in and see what he thinks. So we'll
not
see.
Super excited about downloading the test build, but I do want to get my hands on the current flight model. Yeah.
The mechanics. There's been a lot of things over the course of development that have, as I said, I can't get into details, but it's been a very interesting road, and I'm interested to see where they're going with this further on down the road. So, as I said, this is an iterative process. I can barely speak. Iterative process. That word, man, always ties me up, I swear. So, basically, as you get out there and you test, it's important that when you file bug reports that you detail as much as you can, or if something is like you see a topic on the in there that matches basically what your description is, but your circumstance is a little bit different, just don't fill in the yes I've seen this too and hit send. Type in the little text box your little bit of what's different for you a little bit. Give them as much data as possible because they do actually look at all this stuff, and it comes down to things like not bug related, but how the game is operating, the performance and things like that, the mechanics, things you like, don't like. Be sure you post in the forums and stuff. Make your voice heard. As I've said before, if you don't say anything, it's the equivalent of silent consent. If you don't like something, talk about it. Hopefully more civilized than I normally do. So I tend to light brush fires and try to put them out after I've drank turpentine by pissing on them. So typically things don't always end up well for me, but that's fine. I'm passionate about the game. I think it's like anything else. When like a parent will often scold a child, not that I'm the parent in this situation, but basically they don't do it because they hate the child. They do it because they want the child to be better. So anyway, guys, that's it for this week's BlastCast. It's kind of been, there's not a lot to really talk about too much in depth because, well, it's the holiday and most of it was kind of fluff to a degree. Get out there, test, have fun, and let's just make this game as good as it can possibly be. Uh-oh.
And on a slightly joking matter, if some of our videos are under 20 minutes, I don't know if we're gonna do this or not.
We might.
Yeah, but we might just end up having like dead air with like a picture or maybe music until we hit that 20-minute mark. So if a video is 20 minutes and 1 second, it might be like after we're done talking and the annotations at the end fade away. If you just want to, you just leave it open, let it play out, open a new tab.
Or just close it. It doesn't matter because what's happening here, folks, is that YouTube is screwing with all the content creators. Okay. Again. Besides the fact that now when you're subscribed to somebody, you have to click a bell to subscribe again.
I actually haven't had that problem, but I hear about it a lot.
I'm subscribed to like 300 people. So the thing is that, for me, I noticed it, and there's a lot of people that if I don't click that bell, I just don't get their stuff. The thing is that, so besides this double subscription stupidity, they've changed their metrics now. What they're doing is they're basically crushing creators if they want pretty much almost daily content, and they want content that's over 20 minutes of video. It used to be like, it's 10 minutes for quote unquote monetization, and it's 20.
And 15 was
yeah.
like better than 10.
Yeah, and 20 minutes is what they want. Basically, if you don't do like 20 minutes and you don't do a consistent, like we do a video every week at least, but if you don't do video content more than that, they may not even show your videos up in feeds and things like that. And so it's one of those things that, as I'm moving into YouTube to do this more seriously, to kind of branch out, that means I have to kind of, I do work another job, so I can't always just make videos, but I'm trying to come up with a strategy where I can actually do that and still actually sleep. So the thing is that this is kind of hamstringing to a degree. So if we do have kind of this wonky space at the end of it, that's not to that's nothing more than to make sure that videos start showing up in people's feeds or being recommended or whatnot. Nothing to like basically just fill it up with fluff to annoy you guys. Just click the next video on your list and keep watching. It's just something I think a lot of content creators who want to do shorter or more concise videos might be forced to do until YouTube gets their collective heads out of their butt. Because they tend to, every year they go in and they change everything.
They've changed things like 3 or 4 times this year, and
I know.
sometimes
2016, man.
This is an interesting year.
Yeah, they have changed their rules more times this year, I think, than any other one. So that's
then all the years YouTube has been a thing, probably.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and so basically that's what might be going on there. So if that starts to happen, just know that's why, and we're not trying to be dicks about it. So that's just, we want to give you a heads up. But anyway, guys, so that's this week's BlastCast, and so if you have any suggestions, you have questions, you have comments, anything at all, just feel free to leave them down below. Send me a message, or you can contact me on Twitter. I have an account there. And either way, we look forward to hearing those suggestions, and we will catch you next time.
Bye-bye.